Hey, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm gonna talk about top 5
best retro camera.
Starting at number 5.
Nikon Zf. In 2013, Nikon took a stab at a digital camera with a vintage twist with the Nikon Zf, a full-frame DSLR that's no longer available. It won over some hearts, but the whole retro concept felt a bit strained by the fact that most of its lenses lacked aperture rings, and the price tag was hefty. Fast forward a decade, and Nikon is giving it another shot with the Nikon Zf. It's the second APS-C sensor camera for the Z-mount system, and it boasts charming dial-based controls that harken back to the good old days of film photography. This time, they're smartly aiming for the entry to mid-level market, although they haven't yet solved the issue with a lack of retro-inspired lenses with aperture rings. Although a lot of people won't care when Nikon Z lenses are so good, and there are third-party lenses that have vintage style if you really want to complete the aesthetic. Sure, you can still embrace the digital world and tap the touchscreen for focus and shooting. But honestly, after using the Zf in our review, we doubt you'll want to. The clicky dials are a pleasure to operate, making the whole photography experience more engaging and tactile, with surprisingly few drawbacks for its generous helping of retro flair. Image quality is excellent, and the 4K UHD video capabilities are nothing to scoff at either.
Coming at number 4.
Olympus OMD. This might not be the newest camera on this list, but that doesn't matter. I am still a big fan of the Olympus OMD EM10 Mark IV. It brings the superb quality from the OMD series into a beginner-friendly and, crucially, much more affordable camera body, and does it all with retro style. The top plate, adorned with classic dials, offers that wonderful tactile experience of manual shooting, a feature that almost landed it a spot in our real-deal retro category. This is the fourth iteration in the EM10 lineup, and it really doesn't claim to be a revolutionary game-changer, but what it lacks in groundbreaking features, it more than makes up for in thoughtful refinements. Our reviewer was thoroughly impressed by the camera's capabilities with a superb 20MP sensor that delivers crisp, detailed, and vibrant images and holds its own with impressive, if not class-leading 4K video. For those always on the go, the EM10 shines with its highly responsive continuous autofocus, perfect for capturing fleeting moments during your travels. But fear not, unlike some of its vintage counterparts, the EM10 is priced to please, making it the most accessible option on this list for any retro photography enthusiasts without deep pockets.
At number 3.
Fujifilm X106. Fujifilm's X100 series is what started the Fujifilm X retro revolution, and these prime lens compacts have been enduringly popular for more than a decade, and never more so than right now. The Fujifilm X106 is the latest evolution of the winning combination of stunning retro rangefinder design with dial-led controls, a big, for a compact camera, APS-C sensor, and a sharp 35mm equivalent prime lens, all of which have been the foundation of the series since its beginnings. The X106 takes things one step further. I really appreciated the bigger sensor paired with in-body image stabilization and more comprehensive autofocus that makes images from the X106 even better than the very high bar already set by its predecessor. The X106 produces superb images straight out of the camera, and extra features like optional converters for altering the lens's field of view expand the possibilities of the X106 beyond humble compact camera. But its party piece, like many Fujifilm cameras, is the ability to use retro-inspired film simulations, or recipes as the expansive Fujifilm enthusiast community calls them, to mimic analog film. However, the downside to this premium camera is it comes at a luxury price, but try one out and you'll see why so many photographers, including myself, have fallen for an X100 series' charms.
Number 2 of my list.
Nikon Zf. If you are a fan of film cameras, then you can't really get any more retro than the Nikon Zf, as the design is a reincarnation of the Nikon FM2 from 1982, and is sure to immediately win over any vintage camera enthusiasts. Nikon has also nailed the feel of a vintage camera as well in its choice of materials, and while the Nikon Zf was a nice taster, the Zf body takes everything up a notch, with a better build quality with more substantial and robust brass dials, and a weighty feel reminiscent of the iconic Nikon FM2 that served as its inspiration. From the moment I laid my hands on this camera, I was a bit smitten. However, the design does have downsides. I found that the Zf's minimal grip is uncomfortable to hold for long periods. Also, there is a lack of Nikon vintage-style lenses natively for the Z mount, which limits you to modern-looking Nikon lenses, or old Nikon lenses via a mount adapter, which spoils the aesthetic somewhat. But the Nikon Zf is a great camera when it comes to actually taking photos and videos. Internally, this is the closest to a new Z6 III right now. With its 24MP full-frame sensor and Nikon's cutting-edge XP7 processor, the Zf offers much better autofocus and subject tracking, as well as solid 4K video performance.
And number 1.
Fujifilm X-T5. Now, I freely admit I have a bit of a vintage film camera obsession. So, it's no surprise that Fujifilm's X-T series caught my eye right away, that classic camera look, straight out of the good old film days. The X-T5 keeps that vibe alive with physical dials on top for shutter speed and ISO that you can adjust with the flick of a finger. But don't be fooled by the retro charm, this little camera packs a modern tech punch. After putting the X-T5 through its paces, I was so impressed by the image quality, video capabilities, design, and build all packed into such a compact and lightweight body that I ended up buying one myself. Just like its flagship XH2 sibling, the X-T5 features an APS-C sensor with a whopping 40.2 MP resolution. For anyone who thinks APS-C sensors are somehow inferior to full-frame, well, the X-T5 is here to prove them wrong, as the photos are stunning. It can also shoot stunning 10-bit 4:2:2 video at 6.2K/30p, although slightly disappointingly at a crop, has built-in image stabilization for shake-free shots, and a tilting touchscreen for composing from low angles. This is a camera that both serious photographers and keen enthusiasts can appreciate. Now, if the classic look with dials has you smitten but the price tag gives you pause, then the Fujifilm X-T32, you'll find it featured further down, might be a good option. It keeps the retro aesthetic with dials but with a lower resolution sensor and less processing power compared to the X-T5.
Check out this video description for latest price and more informations. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and stay tuned.